Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation on Marie Curie Fellowships for PhD. I want to thank everyone who was at the last presentation and is here today again. I can see a lot of you, and I hope that you benefited from the previous presentation. So today we'll be looking at Marie Curie Fellowships for PhDs. So the overview of today's presentation will be focused on one, why you should consider Europe for your studies. Secondly, we'll look at what is Marie Curie Fellowship. And thirdly, we'll look at how to find and apply for Marie Curie Fellowship. So I know that some of you know me, some of you have met me, and those who were here last week must have heard a little bit about me, but for the benefit of those who are joining us for the first time, I'd like you to meet me and I'd like to meet you. My name is Ape Omede. I am Nigerian and I'm currently living in Spain. So I am a Marie Curie Co-Fund Fellow at Chagask, which is Irish Agriculture and Food Development Authority, where I'm currently doing my postdoctoral fellowship. And I am at the moment in Spain as a visiting researcher at the University of Lyon, where I'm conducting some research and will be here for a few more months. And so I would like to share with you a little bit of my antecedents or some of my successes, just to encourage you and not to boast, but just to let you know that success is possible if you put your minds to it, especially when it has to do with getting a scholarship for your master's or your PhD and even for postdoc. So the first of it is that I am an Alltech Young Scientist Award winner in 2009 and 2011. I won the first position in 2011, specifically in Africa and Middle East, and I went to the US to represent the region in a global competition. I am also a 3-time winner of the World's Poetry Congress Young Scientist Award. And I won in 2008, which was held in Australia, in 2012, which was held in Brazil, and in 2016, which was held in China. In 2013, I won the University of New England International Postgraduate Research Award. The same year, I won the University of New England International Postgraduate Research. The first is the New England International Postgraduate Research Scholarship, and the second one is the New England International Postgraduate Research Award. Then I went on to win the Hamlet Protein Industry Research Grant, which was used to support my research activity. And recently I won the Marie Curie Co-Fund Fellowship, which I mentioned to you at the beginning of introducing myself. And all of these, the monetary value of all of these is about 400,000 US dollars. And that's a lot of money. And I'm very proud of my success, and I'm just sharing with you to let you know that it is possible for you to do the same. And this is my beautiful family, and I consider myself blessed to have this beautiful family. So this program is held under the auspices of Scholarship Mastery Academy, which is a program that is dedicated to preparing students and making them to be fit and ready for scholarship. So we do this by hosting webinars like this, sharing opportunities, scholarship opportunities across the world. We have an online course as well, which has about 8 to 9 modules and helps people or students to become fit and ready for scholarship. We also organize one-on-one coaching and mentoring program to help prepare students for scholarship. And so let's go to today's presentation. Today we'll be looking at Understanding Marie Curie Fellowships for PhD. Some of the things we'll be sharing today will be maybe relevant to postdoctoral fellows as well, but we're going to focus more on the PhD students. So if you're also considering going for a postdoctoral fellowship position sometime in the future, I feel that this will be relevant to you as well. So first thing, why should you think of Europe for studies, whether for master's or PhD? There are a lot of reasons, but I'll share about 7 of them with you, I guess. The first one is that studying abroad, whether it is in Europe or anywhere else, what we're talking about Europe specifically here, is an opportunity to boost your career. Judging from the fact that there is this notion that if you study abroad, then you must have a high quality, education. You must have obtained a high quality education, and your degree would be more valued compared to those who studied back home in Nigeria, which is true because we know that when you compare the quality of education in Nigeria to what is obtained outside Nigeria, that there is a huge gap, especially across Europe. So people, organizations, institutions would always prefer a foreign degree when they are considering giving a job to somebody, offering a job to somebody. So studying in Europe will help to boost your career. Secondly, in Europe, there are over 3,000 higher education institutions that you can choose from. So choice is not a problem at all, whether it is choice of institution or choice of program, irrespective of the disciplines that you're thinking of. There are lots of choices in Europe to choose from. Number three, funding. There are lots of scholarship opportunities for international students in Europe. Over 100,000 scholarships are available every year. Some of them are EU-wide, some of them are at national level. Say, for example, we have lots of scholarships for international students in Sweden, in Denmark, in Netherlands, in Germany, in Austria, and all across Europe. So if you're looking for where to apply for scholarships to fund your studies, then you should think of Europe. International outlook is one thing you should consider, because when you go to Europe, you have opportunity to meet lots of people from different parts of the world with different cultural background, different languages. And so it gives you an opportunity to even learn new languages, develop skills, intercultural skills, so you understand what is the culture of other people that you meet, and you'll be able to respect them. And this is very, very useful when you begin to grow in your career, because you don't know where you're going to find yourself. So picking up other people's culture is a skill, is a transferable skill that could be relevant to you as you continue to grow in your career. And when you think of world-class research and innovation, if that is what you're looking for, then Europe is one destination that you should think of, because many of the best universities in the world, many of the best research institutions or centers in the world are located in Europe. Assuming you don't have money to pay your school fees, you can actually still study in Europe because of the low tuition fees that are obtained in Europe compared to places like the US, Canada, and Australia. And of course, you may or may not know that Australia is one of the costliest places to study. So if you don't have a scholarship, you can actually think of Europe as well, because of the low tuition fee, which you may be able to afford. And the last but not the least is travel. With your European visa, especially if it's within the Schengen region, you're able to travel across the 28 Schengen countries without having to worry about applying for a visa each time, which is a problem because as a student, it's very, very difficult to get visa. But if you successfully obtain your Schengen visa, then you'll be able to enjoy Europe traveling all around like me. One of the reasons why I am happy I'm in Europe at the moment is because of the opportunity to travel, even though COVID-19 is a challenge. But yes, this is an opportunity that you can actually, take hold of by studying in Europe. So what is Marie Curie Fellowship? So Marie Curie Fellowship is actually, is generally called Marie Curie Actions, which is a collection of educational programs that are funded, educational programs targeted at individuals and organizations that are funded under the Horizon 2020 program. So the Horizon 2020 program is an EU program that is focused on education, society, and what again, I can't remember the third option, but Marie Curie Action is the education aspect of Horizon 2020 that is focused on empowering researchers and professionals in Europe and all over the world. And so here it's a diagram that shows how the Marie Curie Actions is funded over the years. So the Horizon 2020, it's a 6-year program that started in 2014 and is going to end in 2020, which is this year. But that doesn't mean that Marie Curie Actions will stop, because I recently learned that after Horizon 2020, which is ending this year, there's going to be Horizon Europe, so which is starting in 2021. And that means that Marie Curie actions will continue to be funded. And the budget for Horizon 2020 is 6.2 billion euros. And out of that 6.2 billion euros, 8% of it is allocated to Marie Curie actions. That may look a little bit small, but my interest is in this pie chart on the right-hand side of the slide. Now, if you look at it, it's divided into the different actions or different activities that are covered in Marie Curie actions, ranging from European Researchers' Night to research and innovation, staff exchange, to co-funding, to individual fellowships, and innovative training networks. We're going to talk about this in the next slide, I think, so let's not bother about it. But the most important thing for us in this presentation is the innovative training networks, which is focused on PhD students. And this pie chart shows that out of the 8% budget allocated to Marie Curie actions, 53% of it goes to innovative training networks. And that is very, very important to note. And in this one, in this particular image, we see the number of researchers that has been supported by Marie Curie actions and will continue to be supported by the action as well. So between 1996 to 2006, you have 4,000 PhD students supported. Between 2007 to 2013, you have 10,000 PhD students supported. And in the current phase of the project, which is Horizon 2020, they are targeting 25,000 PhD students to be trained. That's a huge number and a huge opportunity for everybody all over the world, especially considering that the Innovative Training Network, which we're going to be talking about shortly, does not have any restrictions in terms of nationality. So under the Marie Curie actions, you have one of the actions is called RISE, which is Research and Innovation Staff Exchange, which is an exchange program for academic and non-academic staff across Europe. And so that doesn't affect you really. The next one is co-fund. So the co-fund program or action is a postdoctoral fellowship, but I think that there are a few doctoral programs that are also involved in it, and it's mainly hosted by organizations who may be operating at the regional or national or international levels. And the third one is the individual fellowship. So the individual fellowship is a Marie Curie action that is specifically focused on postdoctoral fellowships. It's strictly a postdoctoral fellowship program. Unlike the co-fund, you as an individual, you collaborate with an organization and an institution, and you apply directly to EU. But in co-fund, you apply directly to the organization that is hosting the co-fund fellowship. And the last one is the Innovative Training Network, which is strictly a postdoctoral fellowship program. I mean, a doctoral fellowship program for PhD candidates. And that is what we'll be focusing on in the rest of our discussion. So the aim of the Innovative Training Network is to train a new generation of creative, entrepreneur, innovative early-stage researchers. So we're going to be highlighting a little bit more about the early-stage researchers as we continue, who are able to face current and future challenges and convert their knowledge and ideas into products and services for economic and social benefits. So the idea behind the Innovative Training Network is to raise a generation of researchers, scientists, who have the resilience to stand against challenges and are able to convert every idea that they have into products and services that will benefit mankind, especially benefit the European Union region. I mean, the continent of Europe, as the funding is coming from that particular region. So if you have an opportunity to propose an idea as a PhD candidate, you should be thinking of something that will have some economic benefit or social benefit to the region. That will help to make your application quite successful. And there are three basic objectives of the Innovative Training Network. The first one is to enhance your career. So you will have opportunity to learn a lot of things that will help open up doors for you in other areas of your career. So basically you're not going to be focused on what you already know before. it's an opportunity for you to learn new things that you don't even know before. Say, for example, myself in my fellowship, because the same thing applies to the COFON and even individual fellowships as well, the enhancement of career. My background is in animal nutrition, but I'm currently working on a project that is totally on animal health and molecular biology. And what that means is that by the end of my project, by the time I finish my fellowship, I should be able to take a job in animal health or in molecular biology. So that's one of the main objectives of the Innovative Training Network, just as it is with individual fellowships and the COFON program as well. Second is to train a new generation of scientists that are skilled diversely. So people who are able to do a lot of things at the same time, not just a narrow-minded researcher who is just focused on one thing, but a generation of researchers that are knowledgeable in many things, skilled in many techniques, and able to use those skills and techniques to provide solutions to problems. And lastly, to raise the level of excellence, because the fellowship is actually targeted at students who are excellent in all that they are doing. And when I'm talking about excellence here, I'm not just talking about academic excellence, but I'm talking about excellence in all ramifications. If you're able to showcase excellence, then you'll be able to get into this program, as this program will help you to develop more of your excellent skills and potentials as a researcher or as a scientist. So as an overview of the Innovative Training Networks, it's important to know that the Innovative Training Networks has three components. The first one is the European Training Networks, which is made up of at least 3 centers established in 3 different countries of the 28 countries in the region or associate countries. So the associate countries, for those who don't know, are those countries in Europe, but are not members of EU. The second one is the European Industrial Doctorates, which is formed by at least 2 partners, one of which must be an academic partner and another which must be an industrial partner, and located in EU or in associated countries. The third one is the European Joint Doctorate, which is a network of at least 3 partners that can issue doctorate degrees, and these degrees may be issued separately, so you have a double or a multiple doctorate degrees offered at the same time, or the degree could be offered as a joint degree where all the academic institutions that are in the network are kind of co-signatories to the degree. And importantly, each ITN program will admit a maximum of 15 PhD positions. I don't know if this is a hard and fast rule, but it looks like this is what is obtainable generally in the ITN programs. Maximum, it could be less than that, but could not be more than 15 at a time. Eligibility and duration. So the primary eligibility is that you have to be an early stage researcher. And this is one term that has been confusing to me over a period of time, especially when I was searching for PhD opportunity. When I see early stage researcher, I used to think of someone who has already completed his PhD or something like that. I didn't know that it meant actually someone who does not have a PhD and is just does not have up to 4 years research experience, or just starting the first year of 4 years of full-time research, which is what your PhD is going to be, so. The eligibility is that you have not completed a PhD before. So if you're a master's student or about finishing your master's, you are eligible for applying to an ITN position. Second is that the maximum duration of the project is 4 years. I think between 3 to 4 years. So if you're going to come in for this fellowship, you must be able to finish whatever project you have to do or to carry out within 3 to 4 years. After that, there will be some trouble, but Usually people finish within 3 to 4 years. And during this period, you will have opportunity to be trained in different skills and techniques and labs and whatever it is that you're working on. And you have opportunity to network, to travel, attend meetings, attend conferences, attend boot camps, seminars and all that. So it's a full-on opportunity for you to develop into a very excellent researcher that will help you in the future. So there are mobility rules, and specifically the mobility rules allows, first of all, you can apply for this whether you are an European citizen or not. Wherever country it is that you're from, you're eligible to apply for this program. But there is a clause to it, and that clause is that for every country you want to go to, or where your host country is located, if you've lived in that country for 12 months in the last 3 years, then you will not be able to go to that country. Say, for example, I'm applying to Catholic University in Belgium, and I've lived in Belgium for 12 months since 2017. Or since the day the offer was made, they will count it back based on the day that the offer was made. So if you've lived in the country where you want to go to for 12 months and 3 years from the day that the offer was made, then your eligibility will be cancelled. So you cannot go to that country. So you have to have this at the back of your mind when you're planning to apply for an ITN, to make sure you're applying to a country you've not lived in for 12 months in the past 3 years. And what that means is that if you lived in that country for 12 months, say in between 2019 to 2020, you are not eligible. If you've lived in that country for 12 months between 2018 to 2020, you are not eligible. If you've lived in that country for 12 months between 2017 to 2020, you are not eligible. Assuming that your offer was made, say today, 2020, 15th of August, 2020, then you are also not eligible for it. Application document. Generally, there may be or may not be an online form. Sometimes it could be an email address that you need to send your documents to, and sometimes it could be a form that you may need to fill online and then upload your documents to. So, but whatever is the case, you will need to have a CV, you will need to have a letter of motivation or statement of purpose, you will need to have your certificates and transcripts, submitted. You need to have evidence of English language proficiency, which would be your IELTS or TOEFL, or sometimes a letter from your institution to show that you studied in English, your referee reports, your proof of residence, because your proof of residence will be used to calculate if you've lived, or to show if you've lived in the country where you're about going to before in 12 months, for 12 months in the past 3 years. And then you need your international passport, and then you need a research proposal, which is very, very important. I'm going to share that as we continue, share more on that as we continue rather. So what is covered? So your program participation fees is, your program participation cost is covered completely by the fellowship, which means the money you need to conduct your research, your school fees, your training fees are all covered by the fellowship. Then you will also receive a living allowances of about 3,000 euros every month to cover feeding, accommodation, and all that. You have a mobility allowance of about 600 euros rather. And then you have a family allowance if you're married of about 500 euros. Everything is about 4,172 euros. And this is before tax. So I think that after tax, it will come down a little bit. But whatever it is, this is a good money for a PhD student. Selection criteria. So unlike the Erasmus Mundus, where there is strong attention to academic excellence as a priority, in the innovative training network, it's a little bit not that way. So what they're looking for in the innovative training network is primarily your research skills and experience. So they want to know how much research knowledge you have, what have you done in the past research, what skills and techniques do you have that can help you in the lab, what statistical skills and techniques do you know or are you familiar with? For example, in the world today where R programming is becoming very popular, there will be a question like, do you know how to use R to do statistical analysis? Do you know how to use SAS to do statistical analysis? Do you know how to design experiments? Do you know how to implement them? And, things like that around conducting research. So they want to know that you have strong research skills and experience. Secondly, your number of publications. This can never be overemphasized, okay? So you need to show some result from your previous research in form of research publications, which could be published in peer-reviewed journals, could be conference proceedings, could be monographs or book chapters, or could even be an online publication that shows that you have skills in publishing. You've been able to successfully publish research from your previous from your previous studies. And this is one area that I know there are a lot of people back in Nigeria are lacking, because the training we receive back home doesn't give us opportunity to learn some of these skills. Many students don't know what is a literature review. They don't even know how to start with it. But these are some of the things we teach in Scholarship Mastery Academy. We teach how to develop research proposals, how to structure your research materials to make sense to whoever is going to review it. And then we also kind of show you how to publish your materials as well. So quality of research proposal is also important. That in quality of research, in the quality of research proposal, they are looking at your experimental designs, the techniques that you're bringing in, the feasibility of the research, do you have enough money, or do they have enough money to fund that particular research? They're looking at your timeline. Have you structured your research in such a way that you can finish it in 3 years or 4 years? Are you bringing up vital solutions or proposing vital solutions to very important problems in the society? Are you proposing trending ideas? These are things they'll be looking at in terms of quality of your research proposal. Then we talk about previous awards or academic excellence, like if you made a first class or if you won some awards during your first degree or master's. And then the letters, you're going to submit your letters of motivation or statement of purpose, as well as your referral reports. Now, how do you apply to the Marie Curie Innovative Training Networks? There are basically two levels to it. And the first level is where the consortium applies to European Commission, either as an ETN or EIN or EJT. So organizations, whether academic or non-academic, come together, propose a project to European Commission, and then eventually the projects or the proposals are reviewed, and then they are awarded some grants. Now, when these projects are awarded grants, the consortium will now make a second call. So this is this two level of the application process in ITN. The first one is that the consortium applies to EU or EC, and the EC grants them some award, and then they will now make a call for early stage researchers to apply directly to them as a consortium. So your focus is the call that is made by the consortium, and not the one that is made by the European Commission. Unlike in individual fellowship for postdocs, where the European Commission makes a call and the individual applicant applies directly in collaboration with a supervisor to European Commission. But in this case, you apply directly to a consortium, just like it is done in Erasmus Mundus. So where do you find the information, or how do you apply? First is, now there is a portal called the Marie Curie Actions job portal, where you can find information on available opportunities to apply to. And then second is a portal called the Euraccess. Euraccess is a very huge portal. As a matter of fact, it's European pathway to all European research opportunities for researchers and professionals all over the world. And so we're going to look at how these two portals work in your search for PhD position under Marie Curie Fellowship. So the link below is what leads to the Marie Curie job portal, where you find information as listed by those consortia that won grants from the European Commission. And we're going to be looking at that link very soon. And this is the link to the EURAX's website as well, which is the gateway to European research areas. So all the research activities conducted in Europe or to be conducted in Europe are hosted on this particular website, and we'll be looking at it shortly. And let me also mention that they too are related in a way, because when the consortium posts its positions or its opportunities on the Marie Curie Actions job portal, they actually end up linking it to EURAX's as well. So they work actually hand in hand. You can go straight to EURAX's to look for a position, but it's much more easier to refine your search in Marie Curie job portal, and then from there lead your way through EURAX's. And okay, so let's see a demo of how this works. So I'm going to stop sharing this and then continue with my browser. So I'll now share my browser, which is this one. Okay, so here is my browser, and we're on the Marie Curie Actions website. And what you see is the home page, actually, and there are other informations that are available here. So here is the call section, and this is where the consortium goes to submit its application and doesn't have anything to do with you. Here is Marie Curie Actions and COVID-19 information for existing fellows, and here is where you actually go, but I don't want us to go through here. Then you have other information like events, updates, calls for application. So here is where you apply for individual fellowship program if you're looking for postdoctoral position as an individual. And this is for co-funding, and you don't apply for this as an individual, but organization or organizations, one organization or more than one organizations come together to apply for this, and they do that through this website, and then you apply to the organization if they are successful with the application to the EEC. And then there are other opportunities here also, because it's not our focus, so we'll just go ahead and look at this. So here you have actions, which shows you all the different actions under Marie Curie like we've seen, and then it is under how to that you'll see where you go to find the opportunities, and that is under the find a job page link. You can see other things like a quick guide, get started, manage your project for those who have won the project, won a grant from EU, and then you see also information on news and events. You see resources, and under resources you can read success stories, read testimonials, watch videos, photos of that has to do with photos that have to do with the Marie Curie actions and all that. But our interest is in the job, so we go to find the job and we click on it, and it opens the job portal for us. And so here is where you see all the ITN fellowships and other positions as well. Like we're going to see that there are co-fund positions available there. We're going to see that there are individual fellowship positions available on this portal as well. But of course, our focus is on PhD students. And there's a little bit of information here, and the information is also taking us back to EURAX's as well again. But we will look at EURAX's in a short while. So when you scroll down, you find a filtering tool that allows you to filter based on the country of your choice. But I don't always advise people to use this unless you have a specific country that you are actually looking at. There are 118 positions available under this portal, which you're going to see is very small, little compared to the EURAX's website when we get there. So I always don't advise to filter with country unless you have a specific country you're interested in. But rather you could filter, with field, so you can go straight to what is relevant to your area of interest in all the countries in Europe. So let's say, for example, we decide to go for biological sciences. So when we filter without choosing a country but choosing by field, which is biological sciences, we are given 33 items. So there are 33 positions in biological sciences. Let's look at a few of them. So the first one here is there are 8 positions, short-term positions for early stage researcher through Evocell ITN. ITN is Innovative Training Network. So whenever you see 2 things you should have in mind. One is early stage researcher. It means a PhD position. Second one is ITN. It also means a PhD position. And third one is first stage researcher R1. This also means that this is a PhD position. And this is in biological sciences across different labs in Europe, hosted in Germany. So the primary, the leader of the consortium is based in Europe. I mean in Germany rather. And the closing date is seen here to be 30th of September 2020. So you're supposed to be able to send, but I don't think anything's happening here. You're supposed to be able to open directly here, but it's not opening. So the only option you have is to see full details. And when you click on these full details, it actually takes you to Eurax's website. This is an example of an ITN position and how to find it in the Marie Curie Actions job portal. So when you scroll down, you see other positions. But you have to look well to be sure you're looking at the PhD position. For example, this one is an individual fellowship opportunity, and that means it is a postdoctoral fellowship position. And it is for established researcher R03, as you can see. This is the organization that is hosting it, and it is in United Kingdom. Closing on the 9th of September. And as a matter of fact, all individual fellowships close on the same day. Or they close on the same day. So the EU sets an opening date for it and a closing date for it. So you have to have that back in your mind. This is another 15 PhD positions in Marie Curie ITN. Again, as you can see, a nano vaccine approach for treatment of pancreatic cancer, and the short form or the acronym is PAVE. Biological sciences, chemistry, physics, and medical science. So if you're in any of these fields, you may have opportunity in one of these 15 positions. Remember, we said that it's a maximum of 15 positions, and you can see that here being reflected. It's for first stage researcher R1, and these are the organizations that are involved, and these are the countries that are involved. It's closing on the 30th of September, and if you click here, it takes you to Euraxis as well. I think we will look at this, but let's just scroll down again. This is R1, so this is Conceptual Programming of Health Training Network, and this is the acronym. It's for first stage researcher, and it is in Netherlands. So I'm seeing Erasmus MC here. I don't know if it's Erasmus University in Netherlands. I don't know what that means. We can only know if we click on this to look for more details about it. See another 15 PhD positions in Marie Curie ITN, novel applications of 19F magnetic resonance imaging, NOVA MRI, for people in biological sciences, chemistry, and computer sciences, Netherlands, UK, Italy, Germany, Spain, and Norway. Closing on 31st of January 2021. So this is another one again. Marie Curie early stage research position in computational and paleoproteomics. Wow, that's a name, man. Closing on the 31st of August 2020. 13 international PhD positions in early stage researchers in the Marie Curie ITN network, ITN, European Training Network, RENER, recreating the ideal niche, environmental control of cell identity in regenerating and disease models in Italy, France, Spain, United Kingdom, Hungary, and Israel. And here, if you click on here, you get more information. It's closing on the 1st of September 2020. So let's just choose one and see what it is like. So when we click on this, it opens up in Euraxis actually. And when you scroll down, you'll see the name of the leading organization, a little bit of information about the program, 40 hours per week, full-time, temporary contract, multiple locations. It's for first stage researcher R1, and deadline is on the 1st of September 2020, 2300 Europe, Brussels time. Then when you scroll down, you read more about the project, kind of a summary of the project. Then you have a link So that is very important to note that you may not be able to apply directly on Euraxis. What Euraxis will do for you is to only lead you to where you can apply. And there are two ways to it. One is a link, a website link to the project. So the RENA project has a website called https /renal-itn.eu. Then you see all the positions, and where the first position, the first PhD position is located in Milano. The second one is University of Milano Bicocca, first one. The second one is the Institute of Genetics and Biophysics in Italy. And then you have this one in Lyon in France. You have another one in Spain, United Kingdom, Hungary, Italy. So all these institutions are primary hosts. So if you're going to Italy, say for example, University of Naples for Italy, in Italy, you must not have lived in Italy for 12 months in the last 3 years, like I've said. But if you're going for your outgoing phase or your mobility phase, say 3 months or 6 months to UK, it does not affect you in UK because UK is not your host organization. I needed to point that out in case if I didn't make that clear. So if you are ERS8, if you are applying for this position, you're going to Italy, you must not have spent 12 months in the last 3 years in Italy, but that doesn't affect you going to UK if you needed to go to UK for 3 months or 6 months as part of your project in Italy, and vice versa with UK and France as well, or Israel as is listed here. So these are 13 positions that are currently available, and the title of each project that is going to be conducted by the PhD student is listed under the position as well. For example, ERS10 in France will be looking at microfluidic bioreactor for high control over fluid and reagent delivery. ERS12 in Italy will be looking at the use of non-oxidizable form of HMGB1 for muscle repair therapies. And then you see the benefit here, about 3,270 euros actually. So per month. So in 1 year, you're earning 39,240 euros, and there is living allowance, mobility allowance of 600 euros, like we have mentioned, and then family allowance as well of 500 euros, just like we mentioned at the beginning of this presentation. This total amount is plus tax as well, of course. And who can apply? So here you see the profile of who they are looking for. You cannot hold a PhD already. You must be an early-stage career, early-stage researcher who has not spent up to 4 years. You are the first year of your 4 years full-time as a researcher. It can be of any nationality, must be proficient in English. And they didn't tell us if it is going to be evidenced with a letter of English language proficiency or IELTS or TOEFL. So in this regard, you may need to get in touch to know what they're actually looking for. But here, they need you to have excellent master's degree or equivalent qualification in the relevant area that you're choosing. So if you are looking to go to this one, you should have experience, or your degree should have a reflection on, I think this should be biological sciences, because they are talking about microphage and phenotypes in this particular study. So when you're choosing a position in any of these, you have to make sure that your master's degree is relevant to that position. Strong evidence or genuine interest in your motivation letter, okay, or research letter, whatever it is. Excellent references like we mentioned, and the publications in a relevant research field are desirable. So if you're applying for this position and you have 5 publications and someone else has only 1 publication, then you stand a better chance. How to apply? This is the link to where you find more information on how to apply. So it's still the RENA website, but then /open positions, because there are 15 positions, but here only 13 are listed. That means that 2 positions have already been taken. So if we go to this link, Now, this is the link, this is the website of that consortium, of the Renewal Consortium that we've just looked about. Now, recreating the ideal niche, environmental control of cell identity in regenerating and disease models. So exactly what we've seen in the Euraxis website is what is here, but in a more detailed form. So if you want to now know about each of the projects, you click on each of the projects as listed, and then you have more information to know if it is what suits you. So let's go to University of Debrecen. And the project is for the sixth PhD position, or sixth early stage researcher position. And the title is Epigenetics of Macrophage Phenotypes and the Contribution of Transcription Processes Contributing to Phenotype Switch. So we go there. And then I love this. Here we see the supervisor, the person you're going to work with. And it is very, very important that you look at, excuse me. It is very, very important that you look at the profile of the supervisor who is going to be in charge of this particular project, so you can understand the supervisor's background, his research interests, his previous works, and all that. So this link here sends us to his profile page, I think, and this is a link to his LinkedIn as well. And in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to be sharing with you on how to connect with a potential supervisor. And in that particular presentation, we'll now look at how to make use of this particular information here. I'll probably use this also in that presentation to demonstrate some of the things I want to show you in that presentation. So on this side of the page, you see information on the project itself. There is a little bit of description of what is involved, the objectives that you're supposed to cover when you're doing a PhD. So these are the things that you'll be researching. It is for 36 months, and your enrollment will be in a PhD program in molecular cell and immune biology at the Faculty of Medicine, University of Debrecen. Clicking on this will take you to the Faculty of Medicine in the University of Debrecen. Some references, and if you want to apply, you click here, and I think it will open an application form. Remember, I said it could be an email address that you send all your documents to, or it could be a form, and this is exactly a form that you need to fill your name, your details, everything, and then you choose the position that you're interested in after you have looked at all those 13 positions and decided which one to go to apply to. And then they're asking you here, how did you find out about information? Then here, you are expected to upload their Europass curriculum vitae. And this is very important. I don't have the time to talk about Europass curriculum vitae, but this talks about a standard CV format that is used in recruiting researchers, recruitment generally in Europe. So it has its own specific sections or areas of interest that they want you to cover. So your CV must follow this particular format, and I think there is a template online that you can use. So if you are applying for this particular position, it's important that you follow the Europass curriculum vitae format. It's generally advised. It is generally advised to use that even if it is not asked for. And there are also some notes here about number of pages. Maximum is 2 pages, and so you have to be able to follow this. Then the second one is your where to upload your motivation letter, and then contact of your referees, agree, and then submit. I'm seeing something on your official transcripts here. So probably you'll be able to attach 2 things on the first link. I'm not sure. But usually, maybe what you can do with this is to make your transcript and your CV into one file, one PDF file, and then you can upload it together, because there's no other option here for you to do that. Okay, so that's how to apply for this. Here they have the partner profile, so which is the profile of the university. You get to know more about the faculty. There are 23 clinical departments and 20 departments of basic sciences in the faculty of medicine at the university, and just all that. So this is how to go about this, assuming you want to apply for this particular number 6 position out of the 13 positions that are available for this particular consortium. So now this is how to move from Marie Curie Actions job portal here. Remember, this is where we started from, and it landed us here. And from here, we went on to see the website where you can now officially or formally apply for any of the positions that you're interested in. Now, I want to show you the Euraxis website, which is this one. So assuming you just land here directly as a link that you need to use to look for a job, what do you do? So first thing you do is that you have an option to either search for jobs or to post a job. And of course, we're interested in searching for a job. So we click on search for jobs, and it brings you to this particular page where you now have to look for jobs that are listed here. Now, if you look at here, you have 7,394 jobs listed compared to 133, but 118 rather that are listed here. Remember when we checked here initially, we had so if you take this back to field, we have 118. So even though this links you to Euraxis directly, it is quite limited in respect of the number of jobs that are here. So, and apart from that, it also links you back to Euraxis eventually. So maybe you just use this to find things that are in your field, and then allow it to lead you to Euraxis. But then you can also filter here on Euraxis, because there's no way you can go through 7,000 jobs sitting down, so you have to find a way to narrow it down. And to do that, you come here where you have research field and you select either agriculture, anthropology, architecture, arts, astronomy, biological sciences, chemistry, communication sciences, computer sciences, criminology, engineering, geography, judicial sciences, languages, management, pharmacological sciences, physics, religious sciences, sociology, technology. So depending on what you are interested in, let's say, for example, we're interested in agriculture, we click on agriculture, then we come to researcher profile. To further narrow it down, we choose the first stage researcher, which is the early stage researcher, and the R1 code. So we click on that, and then we do our search. You could search through sector and all that, but usually I don't really find that. I don't worry about this. So if you want to search through sector, you can do that as well. So you can limit your search to higher institutions, or to public research institutions, or to research labs, or to business organizations. But I don't really think it's very important, as well as country, because you shouldn't care about which country you're going to. You're looking for just an opportunity that will help you accomplish your goal to obtain a PhD. So we do our search with agriculture and with first stage researcher. And then it gives us 139. Whoa, there is a position in my organization. Anyway, now this doesn't look like, so why this portal has 7,000 jobs is because it holds positions for postdocs, PhDs, lecturers, professors, and all kinds of opportunities. That's why you have a lot of them here. So even though we try to narrow down to R1, it still picks up other positions that are not necessarily R1 positions. So when you see something like this, you have to ignore it. But here is a PhD position in Department of Environment in Ghent University. So if we look at this, for example, now when I was showing you the 13 positions we just looked at, I didn't go through the where to apply link because we're looking at it from the Marie Curie Actions job portal. But now that we're looking at the ERASIS job portal, I need to point out that you have a link to where to apply, which could lead you, which could show you the website to follow to apply, or show you the email address to send your documents to. It also has contact, a link to contact of the people involved in the project. You can save it and come back to it later. Or as a matter of fact, you can actually create an account. You can actually create an account here that you can use to log in anytime. I forgot to mention that you can show a map, but I don't know if that is important to you. Another thing I didn't mention is that there are other things that are actually here. Like here, you have career development, which is the page where you see information on, I think, visa application, medicals, how research is conducted in each of the countries in Europe and all that. If you want to partner with an organization, this is where you can find other organizations or members or update your own profile and connect with people who are looking to apply as a consortium. Information and assistance. Sorry, I think this is where you have information on work permit, employment and unemployment, Medicare, medical care, insurance, visas, and all that. On the national portals, you see all the individual EURAXIS website to the EU, the countries in Europe, and also other parts of the world. For example, there is a EURAXIS office in Australia and New Zealand, in China. Let's just look at it and then we'll come back to this. So here is this is the main EURAXIS portal where you see everything, which is where we are. But if you want to go to any country's EURAXIS portal, assuming you are interested in job in Slovakia, this is where you see all the information about jobs in Slovakia. And that not only jobs in Slovakia, but how to apply to for a research visa in Slovakia, health insurance in Slovakia, taxation in Slovakia and all that. The same with Montenegro, Netherlands, Hungary, Bulgaria, Norway, United Kingdom, Romania, and all that. So here you see all the other countries where EURAXIS is currently existing. So there is one for Southeast Asian, there is one for China, there is one for India, there is one in North America, there is one in Latin American, Caribbean countries, there is one in Japan, there is one in Korea, and then in Australia and New Zealand. Unfortunately, there is none in Africa yet, and that is a sign that a little is being done. There's no large number of Africans applying for this particular program. Because I know that in Erasmus Mundus, the number of Africans is growing continuously, but in ITN and IF and COFON, the number of Africans is quite low. So I will encourage anybody who is interested to make sure that they use this website to see if they can put in the African continent on this as well. Anyway, so that is what the national portal is. I think this links you back to this, and then this is the link to your own account. So we go back to where we came from. So I was talking about these 4 web links here, or page links rather, here on this website. So if you want to know how to apply or where to apply for this PhD student position in the Department of Environment, you click on where to apply. And it sends you to this website, which is academicspositions.com, and then Ghent University 2020-PhD student position. So, but let me look for a position that wouldn't take us completely out of this, because I know academic positions very well. It's a website that shares academic positions, both PhD, postdoc, and all that as well. But it's a general website. So let's go back and look for other positions that won't take us too far, or that will take us directly to the position we're looking at. So maybe this one, PhD position in languages writing, history of FWO funded, PhD position in the history of linguistics. So we click on that. This is hosted in Belgium and at Catholic University in Belgium, first stage researcher, full-time, 38 hours per week, and deadline is 20th of September. Where to apply? So it gives us a link, single link to where we can apply for this position. But before we do that, let's scroll down and see what the position is all about. So within this overarching project, the PhD candidate is expected to develop and carry out his or her own line of research, leading to a PhD dissertation. He or she is expected to present at international conferences and to publish both single-authored and co-authored articles. A small amount of teaching may be required, will be required, or encouraged rather. So additional information tells us about the benefits, like what you'll be getting, salary 2.15 net. That is net means I think after tax, I think per month. Here are the eligibility criteria for each of the positions: good command of English language, your working knowledge of French, German or Latin, interest in digital humanities perspectives, masters in linguistics, history, philosophy, classical or modern languages. What do you need to submit? A cover letter, a CV, one-page research statement is needed. And if you want to have more information about the position, you can contact this professor here or this one here. And these are their emails for the first person, and this is for the second person. And, you know, like I said a few minutes ago, that last Saturday of this month, I'm going to teach on how to connect with a potential supervisor. That is what you use this emails to do. Introducing yourself, asking more questions about the project, and getting the feedback from them to know what the project is all about, and at least letting them know you. So it's an opportunity for you to create a first impression. But well, we'll talk about that in the next, when we get to the webinar on connecting with the potential supervisor. So this link is the same with the first that we saw, but you can use them to go to where to apply for this position. And here it shows us that there's only one position available. So we come back to our where to apply, and when we go here, and here is the direct website, Catholic University website, where the job is posted and where you can now make your direct application. So you still have more information about the project, about the profile of the candidate, about what is on offer for the position, what you need to send in as part of your application. And there is a website link to where you can submit your application to a form. So you create your account, and we won't be able to do all that. And so you create your account, and then you go ahead and make your submission. So, but at least this is where you find all the information that you need to make the application. So let's close that and go back to the list. So you keep scrolling until you see what you're looking for, and then applying for it. So there are 740 pages to go through. Also, maybe our search is clear. So let me go back. Yeah, it's clear. So we do a search again, because we can go over 740 pages at all. So we choose our field, and then choose level of research, which is the researcher profile, and then do a search again to narrow down the list. And we scroll down. This is a postdoctoral fellow in wheat breeding. Postdoc in molecular biology. There are 14 pages, so it's not much. Postdoctoral fellow, soil metagenomics. So this one is in food science at the University of Dublin, but I don't think it's an ITN position. could be an ITN position actually. We wouldn't know if we don't check actually. So these are the positions I shared a few days ago rather, in the newsletter for those of us who are on my mailing list. And this is actually where I found it. This is actually where I found some of the things I share. And there are 16 positions, and it's not the Marie Curie ITN program, but of course, because this is open to people all over the world to list their position. That is why this is listed. This is hosted in Australia and in UK. And of course, there is a Euro-access for Australia, so no surprise it is listed here. There are 16 of them, so they just kept listing all of them individually. 16 different projects. Where is an innovative training network PhD? Okay, so let's look at this one, PhD in photo, periodic plant responses. So we scroll down, it is hosted in Wageningen. It's a first stage researcher position, closes on 23rd of August, 38 hours. And a brief summary. So this program is in a consortium of researchers and companies with large research program of 17 PhDs and postdocs. And so for anyone who is applying for this, you're going to be working with both postdocs as well. This is definitely an EU-funded project. I think it's a website to the group that is hosting this project. Here is an additional information about what you benefit, 3,061. So you may be wondering why there is differences in the prices, in the salary. This is because each EU country has a standard. They have a standard. That is one. They have a standard on how much they pay a PhD student. Secondly, it is also dependent on the amount they have in their budget, what they have applied for in their budget submitted to European Commission when they were submitting the proposal. So these things, and the other thing is the tax as well, that is the percentage of tax that is charged in each country. So all these things vary. So you may want to do a little bit more research to know how much is paid by each country and what is the tax that is being paid on each month salary. That may help you to determine which country to go to. I know that, or I've heard that Belgium is very good in terms of their salaries. They pay very, very well. They pay their PhDs and their postdocs very well. So you may want to go to Belgium. But please make sure you check before you do that. So, but in addition to this, you have 8% holiday allowance. You have other things that are listed here. Pension plan as well for PhDs, and that is beautiful. So those are things you benefit. Selection process. For more information on how to be part of this, send an email to the names listed here and the email addresses listed, and you'll get more information. But we'll look at the how to apply link at the top to see if we can find more information. So this is just to give you a lot more idea on what to expect. Then you have the requirements for the position. MSc in plant sciences, plant biology or related discipline, experience. Remember, I talked about research skills and experience. So you see it here. Experience is experimental and environmental plant physiology. Proven ability to develop experimental methodology related to environmental plant physiology. So you see, these things are things they are looking at. They are not necessarily looking at academic excellence at a start. They want to be sure that you can do all this first, because at this level, this is what is most important. At Erasmus Mundus level, your degree is still very vital. I mean, you're not an expert yet. You're not becoming an expert yet, so you're still learning. So they may not be interested in all this, but for PhD, you must have this. So I will advise you to start thinking on how to develop all this. And in Scholarship Mastery Academy, we can help with that actually. There is a requirement for English language proficiency, both written and oral as well. That is within the range of minimum of CEF RC1. So this is probably the standard for measuring English language proficiency in Netherlands. So you need to find out what this means and what is the equivalent of this with IELTS or TOEFL to know what is required of you. And only one position is available here. If we click on where to apply, so it takes us to academictransfers.com. So basically, the same information that we have just read is what we also see here. But if you click on the apply, you can apply for this job on the employer's website, which is Wageninge's website, or you can click here. Oh, so when you click here, it tells you to do the same thing. So to apply, this can be done via the application button at the vacancy on our website, which is the university's website. So basically, you go to the university's website. Let's see. Yeah, so you go to the yeah, this is Wageningen's application website. I have applied for some things here as well. So this is where you apply. You fill basic information, upload your letter of motivation, cover letter, upload your CV, upload orders. In these orders, you can now bundle up your transcripts and leading that thing together into this one and upload it here. And then you just apply, click apply button, and that's it. So each of the positions will have its own way to apply. It's either you send it through an email that will be given to you, or you send it through a link that is provided that will lead to a form that you're going to fill. So basically, this is how the two portals work. And I think that's enough now. And so let's go back to our presentation. So right, that's enough of the demos. Okay, time for questions. There are a few questions we have from the chat, and I'd like to go through them one after the other before we round up. So the first question here is from Messi. Messi says, what happens if you have lived for more than 12 months? Does this mean the person is not eligible to apply for the living expenses, or will be reduced? Also, sorry, if you've lived, like I said, if you've lived in your host country or in the country of your host institution, rather, for 12 months over a period of 3 years, you are not eligible to apply to that country or to that host institution. You have to look for a different country with a different host institution to apply to. That's just how it works. Samuel Olajide, what of Euraxis Canada? Well, I don't think that they have Euraxis Canada at the moment, like we saw on the portal. So yeah, I'm not sure they have Euraxis Canada at the moment. So, but what you can do is just to keep searching, looking at the website. Probably they will have it someday, or just Google it and see. But if it's not on the Euraxis main portal, then I don't think it exists. Oluwadamilola Ogundipe. Does it have a specified month it opens, or is it an all year round opportunity? It doesn't have a specified month that it opens. So the ITN calls are open. Like if you go back to the Marie Curie Action Portal, you will see that each ITN has a different closing date, which means that they also have a different opening date. So it's an all year round thing, depending on which ITN opportunity is available at that time, or depending on which consortium is making a call at that time. Unlike the Erasmus Mundus program, where all calls are between September to January of the September of a particular year to January of the following year. Okay, but for ITN, is an all year round opportunity that can be available based on when the consortium was granted opportunity. But as soon as all the 15 positions, if they are looking for 15 persons, are closed, then that's it. Kisili Babuchi, just like Erasmus Mundus program, can we apply for more than one program? I think so. You can apply to more than one program? If so, how many? Well, as many as you can apply to. There's no restriction, but you can only accept one. And also remember that the mobility rule of 12 months over 3 years must still apply. So when you're applying to as many as you can, make sure that you are meeting up with the mobility rule. Next question from Godwin Iranya. Godwin, how many publications is considered reasonable for an early stage researcher? Well, I cannot say really, because I would rather say as many as possible, as much as you can, because you never can tell how many publications that your competitors will have. So if you're saying, okay, I'm an early stage researcher, I'll make do with 3 publications and that will be enough. You may be making a big mistake, because you may be just one less than the person that is competing with you, and that may knock you out. So as many publications that you can push out as possible as an early stage researcher, just go ahead and do it. Like I said, I was quite lucky that I started as early as in my after my first degree. As a matter of fact, within my first degree, I already had about 2 or 3 publications, and because I was very, very privileged to have a very good academic supervisor. So by the time I finished my master's, I already had about 13 publications already. So if you can, just go ahead and keep publishing. Don't limit yourself, because the more you have, the more chances you will stand to win a position. Patience Abugu, thank you for this very interesting session. Thank you very much as well, Patience. On the EURASIS website, what does the national portal link lead to? So it leads to the different countries in Europe that are part of the European research area. That is what it links to, both countries in Europe and countries outside Europe. Specifically, it leads to the EURASIS website of each individual country in Europe and some of those regions outside Europe that EURASIS is operating. That's what it leads to. So if you're interested in knowing about research in Spain and the opportunities that are available in Spain, you go to EURASIS Spain. Samson Ogunfuyi, Samson Ogunfuyi, is language not going to be a barrier, i.e. are the PhD positions taken in English? Yes, the positions are taken in English. They are not taken in any local language. And if they are going to be taken in any local language in where you're in the country you're going to, they will definitely have to cover your language training fees as well. So you have a few months to learn the language before you can start. So, but generally at PhD level, this kind of positions are taken in English language. So you don't have to worry about language at all. I'm in Spain at the moment. I don't speak Spain, and everything I do is in English language. And the people I work with also speak English. Patrick Zoe, what of the financial coverage? So we've mentioned what is covered financially at the beginning of the presentation. Is roughly everything is about 4,100 or 4,200 euros, which covers your living expenses, your mobility allowances, and if you have a family as well. So minus family, then you minus 500 euros out of it. And this is different from your school fees, your research fees, and all that. And like I said a few minutes ago as well, it depends on the amount of money that's available to the consortium. But generally, it's a good money for PhD. Patience Abugu again, for the requirement, must the proof of English be IELTS or TOEFL? Can a letter of institution showing previous studies was done in English suffice? It's a yes and no question. And the only way you will know is if you contact the persons. Like we have seen, when you go to this website, you will see link on applying, you will see information on email addresses of the people involved in the project. So you can just send them an email to ask if this is a requirement for your English language proficiency to be evidenced by IELTS or TOEFL. So I can't really say, but my advice is get your English language proficiency letter and get your IELTS. If you have your English language proficiency letter, you can start with it. and then prepare for IELTS. If they ask for IELTS, then you submit it to them. If they don't ask, then just forget about it. But if you can submit two of them at the same time, you're even giving yourself a better chance. Samuel Olaji, the challenge of writing research proposals. Well, yeah, so it's a very big challenge, and like I said, it all boils down to the kind of training that we're receiving back home in Nigeria. We don't have supervisors who are committed to training people to develop these kind of skills. For me, like I said, I was quite lucky, but I have taught research proposal writing in a Facebook group that I created some years back, which I have not been able to be very active in it because I'm getting quite busy. And it is called Academic and Scholarship Excellence Network. So if you join the group, you will see some of the videos on research proposal writing that I did some time ago, which I think is still relevant. But in writing your research proposal, you have to think about a few things. One of them is what is trending in the field that you're going into. What is the interest of the person that you're proposing the research to? What are they interested in working on? How much is available to you? What is the result that you want to achieve from that particular research? And then how relevant is that research to your society? So if you have these things in mind, then you'll be able to develop a very good research proposal. But we also teach research proposal development in Scholarship Mastery Academy. If you're interested, then you can get in touch and we can talk about that in a deeper or at a deeper level. Messi Choma, how does it work? Let's say I get one that they partner with the industry. Does it mean I will work at the school or the industry? So if you get the European Industrial Doctorate or training, what it means is that you're going to spend some time in the industry to learn some skills or apply whatever you have learned from the school or whatever you're doing in the school at the industry. So the collaboration is for you to test your product or test your services in the industry. So you develop whatever it is in the lab or through your research and you come out with a result. And then you go to the industry to validate the results that you found in the lab. So definitely you're going to have something to do with the industry, but your degree will be awarded by the institution or the school. But definitely you have to spend some time with the industry. Abiba Kone, can I have access to the last webinar? Of course, if you want to have access to the last webinar, you can go to bit.ly slash SMA webinar 1 bit.ly/SMA webinar 1. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to have access to the last webinar on Erasmus Mundus program. Godwin is asking again, seeking PhD in Europe, is IELTS or other English language proficiency exam very necessary? Yes, it is necessary. Because you're competing on a global stage. If you don't have it and someone else has it, I'm sure they will consider that person before you. So if you can obtain them, then I will advise you to go ahead and do that. One way to find out is to ask the organizers of the fellowship about what kind of English language they are looking at. In English language proficiency they are looking at. So if they don't care very much about IELTS or TOEFL, then you may not need to worry about it. I will assume it's important, but I will assume that it could be easily worked over if you have a letter of English language proficiency. Having considered that you've done your master's in an English language, you did your first degree in English language, but don't take this as a final answer. You have to confirm from your institution and be sure of what they want. Please, have you shared the ECTS calculation? Yes, I have shared that in your emails. I sent it out to you directly, Shalom, I remember, and I also did on the newsletter as well. So please check your email. Christopher Ihinebu, name of the Facebook group. The Facebook group is Academic and Scholarship Excellence Network. Academic and Scholarship Excellence Network. The last question here is from Jide Akintayo. Jide Akintayo, there is this thing about Marie Curie Doctoral Fellowship being suited for those who have done their masters in Europe. I have seen in many past adverts where it was stated that being a former EM, JMD, which is Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's degree holder, is a plus. What is the fate of those who studied back home in Nigeria, and how can they cross the barrier? I think I agree that having done EM, will be an added advantage, but at the same time, doesn't really stop you, because eventually they will assess everybody equally. So if you have an EM, GMD degree, and you don't have enough publications, so your first degree is lesser than someone else who doesn't have an EM, GMD, but the person has publications and has good academic result as well. I'm sure it will be very, very competitive for that EM, GMD candidate as well. So I would rather say, do your best. If you're in Nigeria and you want to scale through this particular barrier, do your best to make sure you have, or you graduate with very excellent results, and do your best to make sure that you develop your research skills, do your best to make sure that you publish, do your best to make sure that you understand the research very, very well, and put up a very strong research proposal. If you do these things, write a very good letter, just make yourself fit, ready, and competitive in all ramifications. If you do that, and if you also have a very good master's degree, then you will definitely stand a chance. So that is all that we have in the question and answers for today. So let's finish up this webinar. Okay, so if you need a coaching or a consulting help or services to prepare a quality application, you can contact Scholarship Mastery Academy, and I'm going to share with you details on how to get in touch in the next slide. So, you may have a very excellent result, but you still lack in some of these things that we've mentioned, like how to put up a very good research proposal, or how to write a good motivation letter. A lot of things you need that actually go into preparing for scholarship applications. So we can help with that. So if you're interested in that service, please get in touch and we'll take it from there. So basically, we also share free tips on our social media platform on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. So you can follow us on those platforms. Just search for Scholarship Mastery Academy, and I guess you'll be able to find us online. If you want to send an email to make inquiry about the coaching or joining Scholarship Mastery Academy, send your email to scholarshipmasteryacademy@gmail.com, or send a WhatsApp to the number that is on the screen at the moment. If you want to read more about Scholarship Mastery Academy, you can go to scholarships.apprewriter.com, and there you'll find all the information about the academy and what is entailed and how to join. And I hope that I will see you in the academy. So next week, we're looking at social media for scholarship on the 22nd of August. Hope you can join. After that, for the month of August, we'll round up with connecting with a potential supervisor on the 29th of August. And so I look forward to seeing you on these two webinar series. Now, if you know about Marie Curie Fellowships and you know about Erasmus Mundus Master's Program, you also need to know how to find other scholarships using social media. Apart from that, it is very, very important to know how to connect with a potential supervisor. Many of us lose it at that point. So you may have a very good results and all that working out for you, but not knowing how to connect with the supervisor will be a big problem. So I will encourage everyone who is part of this webinar or who is listening to it after the webinar to do your best to join these two, and you will be happy you did. So thank you very much. That is where we come to the end of today's webinar, and don't forget to get in touch if you need any support, and I'll be happy to help you, and I will see you in the next webinar. Bye.